Don't jinx it. Stop. We did it! Woo! Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video! Hi, I'm Jessica and today I'm going to show you how I made this. This is Mythic Mercy. Mythic Mercy is a part of a huge collaboration with a bunch of other cosplayers and GladZK, our Overwatch Mythic group for Katsucon 2018. Mythic Mercy was designated to me. Gladzy and I worked together on this, and then she drew it up and finalized everything and made it amazing. I actually made a video already and I uploaded it on how I made these acrylic wings. So go check it out before this or after this, whatever you like. It's whatever you prefer. Today I'm going to be showing you a general walkthrough, kind of a tutorial, walkthrough kind of guiding thing. I don't really want to say it's tutorial just because I'm kind of balls and I don't do like really aesthetic like, and then I buttered bread. If you're able to absorb any of the information that I put out here and you can make something from this, fuck yeah. Please send it to me, show it to me. And if you're someone who is watching this and you see me doing certain things and you're like, I don't understand a fucking ounce of what she just said, please check the description. I'm going to be putting a ton of other tutorials and other things that other people have done and provided information for, so you guys can figure out how to do this. If you yourself are a creator or a crafter and you see something that I do and you're like,
no, that's wrong. There's so many other better ways you could do that. What are you doing?
Please comment down below any other options or whatever that the people who are making this can look to. My rule of thumb is always saturate your brain with information before you get into a project so you know all of the different avenues that you could possibly take when creating something. Also, if you stumble upon... Why can't I talk today? Finally, if you stumbled upon this video and you're like, wait just a minute. Pikachu girl, what are you doing? Why are you making stuff? This isn't Pornhub. Jessica, this is not the kind of content I like to consume when it comes to you. No worries. I just uploaded a bunch of stuff over on my exclusive turbines, my city of the titty, my OnlyFans. I just uploaded a bunch of stuff on my OnlyFans, so go check it out. I love both. I love crafting and I love making lewds. It's just, you know, diversify your portfolio. But if you're here for crafting, can we get your shoes on? Let's go craft. Fuck yeah. I'll put all those links down below. Let's get started. Into it. Let's start with the chest piece. I used the age-old method brought about by our god Kamui cosplay of sandwiching two pieces of Warbler together and then molding them over a huge half circle. This half is one of those giant Easter eggs. My titty's huge. Add some sort of oil or release agent to your plastic ball so when you've put the Warbler on top, it doesn't stick to it, because it will stick. I usually use some sort of oil or like hair thing, so then my Warbler cup starts smelling nice. Cut off the excess trim and save it for later because you could use that for so many things, and start sketching out the general shape of the booby cup. I then wrapped myself in saran wrap and painter's tape and then cut it out for the base part of the breastplate. Woohoo! After sketching up a pattern and cutting it out, I then traced that pattern onto some foam and then worked my way into finding a good shape that I would like for the breastplate. I made sure to match the cups to the actual cup part, and yeah. If any of you would like a more in-depth version or a more in-depth like kind of explanation of this, I highly recommend checking out Kamui Cosplay's YouTube tutorials of Warbler breast clips. What? Also, can I get some hype for dual wielding, eating a salad, and using my heat gun? Also, little tip, you can use your heat gun to reheat your coffee. I traced my pattern onto 3mm or 2mm foam and sandwiched the foam between two pieces of Warbler. Because it is a sticky plastic, I just used their sticky plastic properties to stick them together. Stick, 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 stick. And then reinforce it with another little piece of Warbler. If you can, grab a mannequin and lay your heated Warbler over top of it so it takes shape a little better. It saves so much time. It makes it a lot easier for you to get the shape you want. Or if you're an absolute mad lad, you can press that against your body. Make sure you use a sweater or something thick to prevent it from burning you, because it hurts. To attach the cups to the underwire, heat the edges of your cups and the edges of your underwire and press them together. I always reinforce with a long piece of additional Warbler. This part will take some fandangling for you to get it right, so don't get frustrated. It will be alright. You can do it. It's okay. Also, I should mention, your cups for your tibbles should be large enough to accommodate any additional boobage you may want to have. So if you want to wear a bra or some sort of support, make sure the cup you choose to mold your Warbler over will fit those comfortably as well. Warbler as a material is fantastic because you can heat and melt things into place and create a pretty permanent bond. I really recommend saving any and all scraps that you have of Warbler. It can stick to itself, you can mold it. I've literally made so many different little doodads and things out of scrap Warbler. Save it! It's expensive. Observe my Warbler hoard. Once you have your base design done for your breastplate, it's time to add some detailing. I just took some craft foam, sketched out some patterns, and then made the full details with bevels and Warbler and then attached it. I don't know if any of you other crafters remember when they started selling foam bevels, but like, what a game changer it was. It saves so much time and it just adds this extra level of like, it's just clean. It just looks clean. Because I'm going with a Warbler, chest plate. I just sandwiched the little pieces that I make out of foam in Warbler. That way I can just heat and press them on and they will stick. And it'll also have a nice hard consistency that will dig into my ribs later on that I didn't think about. Sometimes when I make massive mistakes with Warbler, I like to use epoxy sculpt because I don't like anything of mine to flex. Epoxy sculpt is a two-part mixed clay that when you mix it together, it hardens after a while. It's actually really awesome to smooth with water when wet and sand when dry. I always use epoxy sculpt when I need to fill in any cracks or things that I may have missed with my Warbler attempt to make it smooth, sleek, and science. For any designs that I want to add additional to anything what I'm trying to say is use painter's tape, put it over your breast cup, sketch out the pattern, and then cut those pieces out, trace them onto foam, and then glue them back onto the cup. Oh my god, was it that hard? Just focus. You can do it. These videos are tough for me because just trying to explain what I'm doing with my hands with words it's hard. So I appreciate you watching so much. Thank you. Okay, back on track. Just take those little patterns that you made and glue them onto the breastplate. Use hot glue or contact cement, whatever you want. I just continued the patterning process for the whole breastplate. Oh, also remember to do any like little sanding and beveling and edging if you want before you actually glue it on, because it's going to be way difficult once it's already on there. For the little wings in the center, I just took some beveled edges, glued them onto some foam, and then glued them onto the breastplate. Like some little, they look like little bananas. High key, I'm going to say that my forte with costumes is like a really organic look, because then I can fuck it up. So with this costume, I was really intimidated because it's all straight angles and future. I am terrified of crafting high-tech looking things. I then sealed it with Mod Podge and then found that was streaky, so then I went back over with wood glue. Just remember though, this is a breastplate, this is going to be on your body, so anything that you use as a sealant, you're already committed to Warbler for this, is going to crack. So just be prepared for that heartache. I don't know why I did this to myself. And then I gave it a chrome coat of gold. Spooky gold, I guess. I just use a basic white acrylic. What the fuck? What? And then I went back over it with airbrush. I used brown airbrush paint for the gold detailing and then black airbrush paint for the white. Then I went back over the gold to pick up on all the white over spray that I may have gotten under the gold detailing. Which totally defeats the purpose of a chrome spray paint, so maybe just, painter's tape those parts off. I then went back and added any additional detailing with the sandwich Warbler combo, and then reinforced it with hot glue. Because I'm not about to add lights to my breastplate, I used a different method to opt out while still keeping some of those cool futuristic vibes. I took some clear Warbler, painted the back with the pigment powder, and then placed that on top of some blue paper I painted with the pigment powder as well. I then cut out the small piece to line inside the spaces I left for the quote-unquote lights. Wow, do not look at this battle damage. I was really happy with this as it turned out because it kind of made it look like some glass or LED panel area. To attach the breastplate, I just hot glued the ever-loving crap out of some straps and buckles. These just go up and over my shoulders and clip in, and then the ones on the back just clip in to secure everything in place. I'll be sure to link some tutorials and stuff down below for you guys to check out as far as armor harnessing and all that kind of stuff and keeping your armor on you. I think there's a lot of different ways you can do it, and it's really just about finding what works for you. I really like buckles because they're heavy duty and they will stay on as long as you reinforce the glue and have a place to hide them like a little cape or something. Woohoo! I think I was already crunching like crazy on this costume at the time, so I was like, nay, I shall not do lights! But for the additional lights that were on like the arms and legs, I just used a general
General Kenobi.
Hello there.
I just used resin and painted pigment on the back for my gems. There we go. Okay. Time to move on to the legs. I just wrapped my legs in saran wrap, did the little painter's tape thing, cut the legs out, and then traced those patterns onto foam. I then glued those pieces together, and I had a big round leg base to work on. For the pattern and detailing on the actual leg, I just covered it with painter's tape, sketched out the pattern, and pulled that painter's tape off, and then traced that onto foam. With these designs that are kind of created for us, I kind of take a lot of creative liberties, especially because crunch time and I don't want to think too hard with a lot of things. So a lot of times my stuff isn't exactly perfect, but I don't really care because it's just meant to be fun and have a good time with your friend. And the 5-foot rule has got your back like a ride-or-die bitch. I can't sing. I don't really know how to explain what's going on here, but I just looked at the art and just copy, traced, and pasted. I just hot glued everything together really quick. In the future, I would definitely use contact cement because you can get a better flush line. But I was zooming and it was crunch time, so I didn't care. Can I have some of that? Go get a glass of water, then let's continue. For the detailing on the legs, I just used a combination of beveled edges and 2mm and 3mm foam to make some nice handy-dandy details. I wanted to make sure any of the pieces that were for my arms, legs, or body, besides the breastplate, so stupid, were made out of foam because I would be wandering around on the con floor. In all of my experience ever, anytime I have Warbler legs, they fall apart. Whether it's because I'm flat-footed, which makes my knees knock together, which in turn knocks details off the legs, or if they're just heavy and they start to fall down and then chafe on my ankles. I actually have 2 extra bones in my ankles. Did you know that? Do you guys have any extra bones in your body? Put any weird bones you have in your body down below. I then just sealed, primed, and painted the same way I did my breastplate. Chrome gold, white acrylic, and black detailing. Just on the knees, there were these little angel wings. I just used the same technique of doing little bananas out of beveled edges and then sealed, primed, and painted those as well. Then I added my little blue gems. I really like these gems because the powder that we used, we all coordinated with all the girls. So we all had coordinated powdered gems. So everybody matched. Then I did some little details for the back. These would actually hold little elastic pieces, so I could just slip my legs in and out of the tube leg armor. You say hi, Ryan. Say hi.
Hello, everybody. I just woke up.
You did just wake up. Aw, what am I doing here, Ryan?
Looks like you're, doing a diamond. Okay, bye.
Thank you very much, Ryan. I'm actually making these little leg cuffs that went over my knees. I just put some little bit of elastic on the back so I could slip them over, and they're made out of foam with a little gem so that they would be nice and light and easy to wear. Next was the arms. The arms were a lot easier than the legs. Gladsy. I just did the same technique of wrapping my arms with cling wrap, using painter's tape to cover them, and then cutting off the painter's tape and then putting the pattern on foam, and then cutting it out and gluing it together. I also made these with a little small gap as well, so I could just slip them on and off. No buckles, no hinges, no nothing, just foam. I then covered my bracer with the painter's tape, designed a little design, and then pulled that off, put it on some foam, cut it out, and then it was time to detail. This patterning part is a lot of just eyeballing the original design and just kind of like fandangling it to make it kind of work for what you're doing. Also, remember, it doesn't have to be perfect because it doesn't matter. Like, in the long run, we're all alive for such a short period of time in the grand scheme of the world, and we're just enjoying this moment, this glimpse, this sparkle of life that we've been gifted, and, you know, nobody's gonna get on your ass if your little lines aren't perfect. Oh god. I thought we'd be able to get through this without any existential crisis, but who am I kidding? If you can, make sure you sand those little edges before you glue them on. It just adds a little bit of extra dimension to your work that I think really goes a long way. Here's a montage of me getting everything onto the bracers. I just used some thinner foam for the extra details and then some beveled edges. Yeah. After all the detailing was done, I sealed, primed, and painted it and add the gems to finish off the bracer look. Sugoi! I cut little holes in the back of the little gem slots that I created just because they weren't sitting super flush, so you can also do that because no one's gonna see the inside of your arm unless you're a doctor. Oh, but she is a I'm an idiot. Then once again, whipping out that awesome airbrush. I hope you got one since we last talked, alright? And add the detailing. Also, just remember to watch those gems. You can tape them off, or you can just be super careful. Then just clean up the paint job again with some gold rub and buff or some gold acrylic. Next, I worked on the head wing Valkyrie style crown type thing. I just sketched out a general shape and reshaped it and cut it till I was happy. I then copied it onto foam and cut it out. I ended up with 4 little spiky scythe shaped looking things, which I beveled the edges to give them more dimension. Originally I was going to use this LED foam stuff for it, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't want to use LEDs for this shit. I am lazy. So I found a different solution. My first pair was a bit too small, so I repeated the process and made some bigger, more prominent ones. For the bottom circle parts, I just used a massive shower curtain eyelet and then added some extra foam detailing. I then sealed, primed, and paint. For the glowing part of the for the glowing part of the Valkyrie headpiece, I just took some blue acrylic, took it to the bandsaw, and cut out the shape that I needed. You could also paint this or just paint that part blue with the same pigment powder if you like to make it a little bit more easier if you don't have a bandsaw. I laid the blue acrylic on the backside of the spiky earwings and then covered all my glue shame with a nice little piece of painted foam. I was really happy with this result because it ended up looking sick in the right light. Use some big old circle gems with that same blue powder pigment on the back. Wow, say that 3 times really fast. Blue powder pigment, blue powder pigment, blue powder pigment. To attach the headwings together, I just fed some wire into the back of the blue gem area and then made it loop over. I made it like this at first just so it'd be nice and flexible and I would have a way to attach it easily and adjust the headwings if I wanted to. For the top, I just covered that piece with a little bit of pleather, and then to attach it, I put some elastic to tie around the back of my head, and then I used bobby pins to keep the wings from moving back and forth. I also painted the inside of the wings black so that if anyone peeped the top of my head, they would see a nice clean area. Head wings, angel wings, mini angel head wings from Guy Online. For the top part of the crown, I took a regular headband and cut out some triangles and layered them on the edges to look like laurels. Laurels? God leaves? Golden laurels. Again with the Guy Online flashbacks. Sealed, primed, and painted those too. Yeah. I really could have connected them, so I didn't know what I was doing, so if you want to do that, you could totally connect the wings and the laurels. Next was onto the clothing pieces of the costume. This design has a lot of asymmetrical aspects to it that I really loved, but sewing is like fractions. It's tough and I struggle like crazy. So I wanted to do this as simply as possible. I cut up a rough pattern, held it to my body, and figured out what was going to work best, and then copied that over to the actual material I would be using. She measured before she cut? Who is this? It's a fraud. For the little, ties, danglies, hip flags, I just cut 2 pieces of the fabric in the shape that they were, sewed them, turned them inside out, ironed them, and then top stitched any additional details onto them. Also, I used this Yaya Han gradient fabric because it was perfect, and holy fuck, it saves so much time dyeing anything. So thank you, Yaya, for creating some of the most insanely specific fabric designs I've ever seen. You literally made fabric for Danny's white snow outfit. It's so specific. For the extra detailing on this, I just used some gold bias tape that you can get at any craft store. Yeah. Please do not look upon them with critical eyes, for I am terrible at sewing. But I was proud of what I was able to accomplish in a short amount of time, so hey, look. Tiny wins! For the front part of the skirt, I used a sort of matte stretch pleather and just folded some thick gold belt stuff, folded it over and top stitched down, and boom! Future skirt. The back part of the skirt, I used a matte black look fabric for the outside, and then that awesome orange or gradient Yaya fabric for the inside. I sewed it inside out, flipped it out, and then again top stitched that thick gold belt to the edges. Seamstresses, don't come for me. I know there's the better way to do this, so please, if you're a seamstress and you're watching this and you just want to keep people aware of my awful sewing habits, just tell them down below, it's totally fine. Wait, what if I get Yaya to do it?
Hey, it's Yaya Han, and this is a perfectly fine method to improvise an edge trim with a stretchy fabric, like the gold metallic here. The folding over encases both sides of the panel and creates a clean finish inside and out. Stop selling yourself short, Jess.
For the little tassels at the end, you can just top stitch them down or be an absolute heathen like me and use super glue because your sewing machine isn't strong enough to sew through 4 layers of pleather. Yaya Han thickness. I just cut the belts up into little strips, laid them together, and then placed the glue on top. I then used another little piece of pleather, laid that on top, and glued it down as well. For the little design on the back of the skirt, I just used some gold What? I'm gonna try that again. I ironed on some gold fabric to some heat and bond and then sketched out the design on the back of the heat and bond. I then peeled off the pieces, laid them onto the back of the skirt, and then top stitched them down. What is that? I can't speak. I sound like Molly Mock speaking Infernal.
legs.
I absolutely love the... Excuse me? I was really happy with how this turned out, even though it looks like shit. But did I claim to be good at sewing? Nay, I'm good at hot glue. For the gold belt, I just took some more of that gold belting stuff that we all agreed on, so it would all be cohesive hose, and then just pinned that onto the front and sewed it down. I did the same to the back as well. For the belt's little gems, I just built some gem boxes out of foam and beveled edges and then put those under some paint and detailing, and that worked really well. My Discord keeps popping off. I don't... Look, I'm trying. Also ignore that I'm missing one of the gems, but yeah, that's kind of what I did. For the attachments for the little hip flag thingies, I just used this resin cast thingy swirly that I made a while ago. I did a little bit of Velcro underneath so that I could place the Velcro belt on top and make everything kind of come together because I wasn't really sure how I was going to connect everything. I also added some additional details with a little tiny gem and some more gold belting around it. Next was the neck. This collar thing was fairly simple to do. I just traced out a general shape for my neck. I can't do the accent anymore! Tried it on a couple times, then cut out the pieces in some foam, sanded the edges to accentuate the deep lines, and then re-glued them down onto some thinner foam as a support piece. I used a thin piece of foam to line the top collar area, sealed it and painted it, and then added some gems that I had molded prior. I then used a super thin piece of foam to line the edges to make it look like they were in a wee gem pocket. I don't even understand what just happened. I then just used super glue to attach all the gems, which ended up falling off. Discord, I swear to God. The design makes it so Mercy has a little collar, like a little turtleneck top type thing. So I sewed up a quick boob window turtleneck crop top thing out of the same fabric that I made the back of the skirt, and then sewed some Velcro onto some of the spots of the top so that the neck piece would be Velcroed down into place. Why did I breathe like that? I then added some Velcro to the underside of the neck piece so that it could just plop right on there. Also, please use a different form of glue to, And finally, these little arm sleeves. These weren't in the original design, but I just wanted something that the braces could sit on top of and you wouldn't see my actual arm underneath. But yes, that was it. Oh, I also made this little arm cuff. I totally forgot to record it, so haha. You completed the video. You watched the whole thing. That was a huge one. Thank you for watching! Oh yeah. I just wanted to say a really quick thank you. I really enjoy making these videos, and the fact that you guys are still down to watch them and everything brings me a fuck ton of joy. I really can't tell you how much I appreciate it. So thank you so much for all your positive feedback, and thank you so much for watching him, and thank you so much for thank you for being here. It's very cool, and yeah, I'm bad with words and my emotions. Thank you. If you guys want to follow me on a bunch of different... I cannot speak. If you want to follow me on other social networks, I have an OnlyFans, I have Twitter, I have an Instagram. You can subscribe if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you did, cool. Nice! Make sure you stay after the credits because I will be putting more cosplayers and photographers and stuff to check out, and so make sure to check the description as well if you want to follow some new people. I think that's everything. Yeah, I will see you another time. Let's not jinx it. I will be on time. Maybe?